Hello and welcome to Katawa Shoujo. This is actually, I think, the first game of the genre I'm playing, unless White Cat Town Mystery counts. But I'm excited. I do know the route I want to aim for. But first, introductions. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now in the late winter, it feels as though I'm standing over a pile of kindling. Breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. I have no idea if that's us or a different character, so I'll voice it for now. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. Okay, so this is internal and external monologue. Okay, I get it. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As a part of the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. Hey, I've been in a snowstorm before. Don't go climbing a snowstorm, kids. The snowflakes suddenly falling from the white-painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem as though time is slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet rhythm. Someone is approaching me from behind. Menacingly? Hisao, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never ever as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Well, this seems quite cute so far. How do you pronounce that? Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line. That was the best result. Pathetic. Yeah, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. About that, my heart is pounding now as if we were trying to burst my chest and claim this girl for itself. It's fine. So here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs at the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out of it if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there, motionless, save for my pounding heart. I wanted to say something in reply, but my vocal cords felt like they'd been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but it only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hisao? My whole body freezes, save my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating of my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, and Nako running towards me, all of these fade to black. The last things I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Nako screaming for help, the incessant clatter of the branches above. Four Leaf Studios presents. Feel free to guess what that's a reference to. Katawa Shoujo. Inspiration by Raita. Writing by several people that went by too quickly for me to read. Editing by slightly fewer people. Music by... okay, I can actually get well too late now. Suffice to say, things didn't go well. Mike Inno. Wait, I know that artist. I mean, I don't know them, I just know of them. been 4 months since my heart attack, and apparently brain attack, too. There we go. And that whole time, I'll probably count the number of times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. I'm not good at pronouncing several of those consonants, so we're just going to go with heart issues. A strange word, a foreign alien one. Yep, we agree on that. One you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition that causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle I was able to go on for so long without anything happening. Is it really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were a bit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day and digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuine... I apparently can't pronounce that today. We're genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Unaka was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that the surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There's a small library at the hospital, though it was more like a storeroom for books. Began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. Till consuming them, I would go back for more. Found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. Wow, I actually know that feeling. Eerie. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mass. I was trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. Other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness, through the barrier of nonchalance I had set for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness of my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But it happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems decided, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. The parents are here. It's been a few days since I'd last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There's this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers and setting them aside as if to make a point of pointlessness of just what he did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Do I continue that voice, or do I do a silly one? The last time I did a silly one, I heard my voice, but on the other hand, this doctor can't possibly have that many lines, right? Hello, Sal. How are you doing today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe you can go home. Your heart is stronger now. With some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So man, I take from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together into a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, dosages, limited line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's also futile. I can't understand any of it. It only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it, he tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I wouldn't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure your medication is suitable. So I've spoken with your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with the unusual students. Disabled? What? Am I? As a 24-hour nursing staff, it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. I think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping nearby. Independence is a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it wasn't really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and it wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. Looks like you don't really have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Wait, are we? Okay, we're late enough in the video for me to actually read the swears. Hooray! Well, you should be excited at a chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and well, it's not the same one. A special school, that's an insult. This is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students who can still get around and learn, just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by the disability. One of my colleagues in the hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny, I'd always thought that my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell at something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of this. The hospital, the doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going back to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on it, it's very difficult. Only try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That's all I can think of to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school. It's something. It's a fresh head start. My life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Is my cursor on screen the entire time? I hope not. Act 1. Life expectancy. For him, quite high. Lucky. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. You know, I've been at a train station like that. It was an eerie experience. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Don't mind the rambling, that's part of the tea I'm drinking. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. moving forward feels good. So I walk towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking my stuff to dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green, and very beautiful. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh-cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now, it's your new way of life. You'll have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies, too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, it's in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind, and the green hues flashing all around may catch my attention. Makes me think about hospitals again. They say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a calming color? So why am I feeling so anxious despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate had bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there's absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization inside my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture noticed me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical, I guess. You must be Niki? Nakai. So you are. Excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that's neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but it's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. So, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Why? Yes, of course. You know what? Yeah. Yes, of course. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, Bernardo likes to be the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, I guess, but I should be the one to give the first impression myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as a classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. I get a grip. This is a big step. I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about, at least not this soon. I follow the teacher in the classroom and look around, partially so I wouldn't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious. The ceiling is unusually high, and there's lots of space left over in between and around the desks. The entire wall is taken up by blackboards. Oh, I wonder what happened to him. And high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of the classroom and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have done something wrong with them. Only it's not immediately obvious. Then I notice that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduced me to the class. Huh. I don't actually see the route I was aiming for. I guess they come up later? She's cute, though. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone's looking at me, a girl with really long, straight hair, and that's pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There's one boy with a cane leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. Wait, did I read this too slowly? Were we supposed to be... Well, too late now. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. I mean, I know that feeling. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions. Sign language? She peers to me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's She's kind of cute. So is a cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting next to her. Yes, exactly. She's kind of hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row. There's only one hand. I cringe a little bit by bowing in thanks for this applause I did not deserve. Collective silence tells me that I should open my mouth now. So, hi, I'm Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along well with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction ever. Or should I say more? Something more exciting. I end up saying nothing, and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems satisfied with what little I said, though. A few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. It could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom again. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round, with her one hand against her other wrist that ends in the bandage stump. Makes me feel a little bad for her. We're going to be doing some group work today, so I'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. I don't know why I can pronounce that name so well. She can explain everything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces... I briefly read that as the teacher passes out. Science announces that we'll be working in groups of 3. It means I don't really know who Hakamichi is. That was slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi's over there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls it... Okay, then. Well, that works. As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but... I'm not Hakamichi, I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi. Si-chan. Giggling, Misha points to the girl standing next to her. The one I saw using sign language before, it looks like she's been staring at me this whole time. She nods once, nonchalantly, to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short and carefully, neatly brushed hair. I like the music here. A pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on her pretty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you too. Oh goodness, the music is getting loud here. One moment. That's why it got turned up between, menus. Weird. It's nice to meet you too. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to? I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think I was Shi-chan. Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She said it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course. Oh, you're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shi-chan, of course, he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there for no reason, right? Right? Seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon, Hee-chan, right? Hee-chan? Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. Of course you look like a Hee-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. thanks, that would be pretty helpful, yeah. I just kind of came straight to class today. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just for school either. Anyways, even if it's a trip to the convenience store, really? Shi-chan? Learn about where you're going? I guess I didn't bother to do that yet, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it. Half-acidly, but anyway. I don't say anything. We should sign something that ends with a shrug. What's that? Seems like it's about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal, as much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test, okay? Alright. And another thing, you don't have to call Shi-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. Just call her Shi-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate? Yep, Shizune is fine. Okay, that would make it a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly. I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Shizune. There we go. I assumed I would be all business. Well, she seems like that. Just less so, I guess. Oh, right, we haven't even touched on the assignment. We should start work now or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if we want to finish it before the end of class. That too. Shizune glares to us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. I think I actually accidentally slipped voices there briefly. After class, we can take a look around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than anyone else in class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misha are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is calm and professional as she looks, while Misha's a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We ascend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down to the bottom floor. Just like everything else in the school, the cafeteria team seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open the courtyard towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. It's nice. It almost feels like the heck of the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. Basically, a random and follow Shizune is the opposite of her. It's nibbled indifferently and the food would rather not eat. Misha pokes me to the side and my attention points to Shizune. But I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. If you're looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything. You're your guide, so you should ask if there's something. I wonder. And I think here's where I'm going to call the episode. I'm having a lot of fun, but my voice does need a rest once in a while. So, I hope you enjoyed. This has been Katawa Shoujo. If you want to check out the game, you can check it out at the link below. And I'll see you next time. Bye!